Chaos has descended on the streets of Sydney, Melbourne and Brisbane as demonstrators clashed with police during protests against COVID lockdowns and vaccinations. In Sydney, around 400 police officers have issued at least 90 infringements and charged 57 people, the Prime Minister calling demonstrators selfish buffheads.
Chaos on the streets of Sydney.
This is unlawful imprisonment, okay, for a virus of 99.7% recovery rate.
Protesters blatantly ignoring health orders and police directions. They came in hordes, at least 3,000 marching against stay-at-home orders and tough lockdown restrictions. But it very quickly turned into a brawl, and police were outnumbered. There was no social distancing and very few face masks as they demanded freedom.
Freedom, eh? You ship that at home or sit at home and do nothing for your kids, your families. Don't be weak, fight for the freedom!
Mounted police stood their ground as they tried to disperse the crowd. Momentum soon heated up, this man taking a rare opportunity to practice his fire dancing skills on a large audience. But police weren't entertained. Authorities had denied requests for the planned rally to go ahead and warned protesters not to attend.
It's not really the time for people to come together closely to exercise what they would think is their democratic right, and it may well be. And in fact, we don't get a situation where we end up with a spreading event in Sydney, which would, of course, be disastrous.
Their anger was unrelenting, calling for the New South Wales Premier, who was replaced by the Health Minister at the press conference.
Where are you, Gladys? This is where you're supposed to be here and bring the people here a bit of calmness here, because everyone's a little bit upset over the situation.
Right to be upset, we got no freedom. We want freedom!
New South Wales Police have made a number of arrests and expect more to come.
What we saw today were 3,500 very selfish buffheads, people that thought that the law didn't apply to them. There is no doubt in my mind that at least one individual there today had COVID. It is statistically impossible for us not to consider that. I'm appealing to all 3,500 people to go and get tested tomorrow.
We live in a democracy, and normally I am certainly one who supports people's right to protest, but I actually think it's really silly. At the present time, we've got cases going through the roof, and we have people thinking that it's okay to get out there and possibly be close to each other in a demonstration. I just think that's a bit silly.
It was a similar scene in lockdown Melbourne. Protesters carrying coffins shouted chants of freedom and sack Dan Andrews. But when officers surrounded the group, organisers told the crowd to leave. In Brisbane, protesters targeted their anger at the government and the media.
When in history have we seen governments work together? Muslim, Christian, Buddhist, doesn't matter. Yeah, put it on. Be a sheep. Put it on. I don't care. Be a sheep. See, unlike all of us, we're not muzzled like you.
Thousands marched through the city, many without masks, but no arrests were made or fines issued in line with current restrictions, which do not require masks in outdoor settings. Jessica Maggio, Sky News.